and welcome to the RHS Chelsea Flower Show 2026, an event supported by Range Rover. We're so excited to be back here to share loads of inspiration for your gardens at home.
Our team of experts are standing by with lots of tips and money-saving advice, helping you have a fantastic garden without it costing you a fortune.
Now, our show is all about making an impact. We've had a look around and there are so many things here that are making a statement and standing out, whether it's the bright flowers to water features.
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Those important first impressions as you walk through. And what's so lovely when we're here is it doesn't matter how large your garden is, whether you've got a patio, container, balcony, there really is something for everyone, including amazing houseplants.
And that's what we're here for, is those take-home things, isn't it? Brilliant. Now, it's press day and the amazing floral displays and show gardens have already caught the attention of the world's media.
So today, if you too want to make a real statement with your green space, we're going to be showing you how to garden to make an impact. From the biggest and brightest blooms to bold border recipes and the latest flowering tree trends. Plus, I'll be talking to Alex Jones and Roman Kemp about the new rose celebrating the 20th anniversary, can you believe, of the One Show.
It's incredible.
20 years, because that's part of your team, isn't it?
I know.
How long have you been with them?
20 years.
20?
I know. We'll also be catching up with Francis Tophill on creating a feature garden with His Majesty the King's Foundation, and I'll be talking to Dame Elaine Paige about what she's hoping to find at Chelsea this year.
I'm making a beeline for the roses because I need to learn how to deadhead them.
But first, I've just stepped off Main Avenue and onto the Children's Society garden. And who better than design expert Toby Buckland to show us how we can be inspired by this amazing garden. And Toby, it is beautiful.
It's a plot with pizzazz.
A pizzazz, yes. But is it really impactful as you walk through?
Well, yeah. The designer, Patrick Clark, he is a master magpie. He's brought together old materials, stuff from skips, turned it into something new, something that looks expensive. It's all to do with the DNA of this garden. The theme is wabi-sabi, which is a Japanese art of making good stuff from things that are broken, repairing them, making them better.
So how can we be smaller master magpies in our own garden to get this impact?
Well, you know, it doesn't look like it at first because it looks so expensive, but see these paving tiles here, these aren't from some Italian showroom, these are from a skip. These are paving stones, municipal ones, sliced up, polished with olive oil, and they just look expensive, but they're not.
And what about the frame? I would never have thought of using a steel frame like this in my garden.
Well, this one, again, recycled material. Every picture, every piece of art needs a frame, and that's what this does. It gives the garden a lovely outline, ties it all together and links it. In the metalwork, it glows.
Yeah,
looks
it looks
beautiful.
Great. And we've got to mention the water. I mean, to have a water feature in a garden, for me, is the ultimate. But it doesn't need to be on this scale?
It doesn't. But the things you can get from this relate to every garden. That sound, the babble, so relaxing and wonderful. And, of course, it reflects all the plants in the garden. The silver of the Elaeagnus is really gorgeous. It fills the air with fragrance. The planting is simple. And I think this is a lesson of less is sometimes more. You don't need to ram out your borders and make them completely full to create impact.
Are you ready for the first question from our viewers of the week?
Yeah.
No pressure. Leah asks, I have a small paved area. How can I make the most of the space I've got?
Well, Leah, if you're good at building, you can have a really tidy finish, smart joints, make it look really tight and Chelsea, or go more cottage garden, mix materials like Patrick's done, say gravel and stone, leave little gaps of plants as well, and your whole thing will have a naturalistic look.
Yes, so relaxed, but still beautiful.
Yeah. Beautiful
Toby,
and useful.
Useful, always useful. Thank you so much, Toby. There are loads of different ways to make an impact in your garden, and one of the easiest is with some beautiful bright flowers. So, garden designer Sue Kent has put together the ultimate guide for first-time gardeners who want to use colour to give their green space the wow factor.
If you want to start growing your own flowers, then annuals are a great place to start. They grow and flower and set seed all in 1 year. And for the price of a packet of seed, you get lots of plants, making them really cost effective. And they flower for ages through the summer. and there are lots of plants to choose from. Calendula, also known as pot marigold, will plant sunshine in your garden. Not only is it ornamental, but it's edible too. The seeds they produce are large and easy to handle, so they're a terrific plant for any new budding gardener. Look at this, petal perfection. These are cosmos with their fern-like leaves and their open flowers. They're great for pollinators like butterflies and bees. Lots of people think they just come in the pink and white, but there's so many more varieties to choose from. Some of the petals have different shapes, like the pinwheel pink, and they have turned their petals inwards to form tubular rays. Up there is something called a fondant fancy. Who doesn't love a fondant fancy? And the petals have all been fused to give a sort of bowl-like shape. They come in different heights, and the smaller ones look great in pots, and then you can vary it in your border. If you're planting them in your border, they look fantastic. They give a real lift of colour throughout it. But the one thing that you need to do to keep them looking good all summer is to deadhead them regularly. Nigella, better known as love in a mist. These beautiful cottage garden plants are so easy to grow. All they need is free draining soil and a sunny position. Make sure the soil is damp and scatter the seeds where you want them, and before you know, you'll see these beautiful filigree leaves, and then these lovely flowers will appear as if they're floating on top. They make great cut flowers, but don't cut all the heads off, because you need the seed heads to form, and then they'll scatter seeds and the magic will all happen again next year.
We aren't the only ones keen to get a first look at the gardens and a peek inside the Grey Pavilion in search of inspiration. In fact, there's quite a few familiar faces also on the hunt for ideas.
It's such a place of inspiration. It's such a place where you can come and be inspired to take things back home, but just enjoy as well.
I do like gardening for sure, you know, going outside and being in the fresh air and planting different plants at different times of the year.
I'm actually looking for inspiration from my outfits. I get a lot of my inspiration from nature, nice brown tones and creams.
Most of all, I just like beautiful things, and I think that a garden is a beautiful thing, especially one like this, which is so organised. You see the thought that goes behind it. Everything has its sort of right place.
I think, wow, this is amazing. How can I take a little piece of Tom Stewart's garden and bring that into my own back home?
That's what I love about this place, because flowers and plants redeem us all. They literally are our life-giving force. And under these great trees and with scudding clouds, I mean, there's no better place to be.
These flowers are from my garden, and just in case, I've got a stunt flower ready for when these start to wilt.
So far, it's the pots and everything I've been looking at and the way they're all planted out, and I've picked up a few ideas.
We've been growing vegetables in the last few years, but we've changed from growing them in a specific area now to growing them all over the garden. So I think actually, why not?
I love a structure, but I do love a wild meadow and a bit of wild grass going on. So here, it's absolutely heaven. There's everything that you could possibly want.
Yeah, I've got a young family, so my garden is all about practicality. It's about playing games, it's about running around, it's about hiding in the trees. I think if I had something like this and the kids were running around in it, I don't know if the gardeners would be too happy.
Great to see so many familiar faces having a wonderful time here at Chelsea. This week, Angellica and I will be joined by a whole range of top experts in floristry, in crafts and also in planting. They have got loads of hacks and tips to share, inspired by the latest trends, but without breaking the bank, which we know is so important. Today, I'm joined by renowned florist Hazel Gardner. Lovely to see you again, Hazel. Thank you so much. With a name like Hazel Gardner, you've got to be in floristry, surely.
I mean, I couldn't have done anything else, could I, Nicki?
No, we're lucky to have you.
Thanks,
so we're inspired by all these gardens, but we also want to be inspired in our own homes, don't we? We want floristry to make an impact.
Absolutely.
Now, hopefully, you're going to show us some tips on that.
Yes.
Two different displays.
Two different displays.
What are we starting off with?
So we're starting with a hero flower of mine, hydrangeas.
Oh, lovely.
So they're so beautiful. All you need is really one stem to make a huge impact. So we've got types I'm using here, a mop head, but you can get lots of different varieties such as oak hydrangea, oak leaf hydrangea here. Then we've also got paniculata, which is more like cone shape. Also got lace cap, but they're all beautiful, but they're all slightly different.
And huge blooms.
Yeah. This is
absolutely huge.
This
so
is
this
what I
is
love.
Gorgeous, just using 3.
Yes.
You're going slightly bigger, I can see over here.
Yeah, slightly bigger over here, but I'm helped in both scenarios by the flower frog. So this is an excellent piece of kit, available kind of like on any online retailer.
A flower
frog or a Kenzan.
Right.
And I really suggest you to get one.
Not expensive?
Not expensive, really, really affordable. And what they allow you to do is just really curate your stems. Really heavy stems can sit in that and they'll be absolutely fine. So it's perfect for things like hydrangeas.
You've got a big one there.
I've got a big one here because I am going to be making a much bigger
and
arrangement.
Once you buy it, you've got it forever, I'm guessing.
Got it forever, and they all come in different sizes, so they're so perfect. So I've got a larger bowl here because I'm going to make a beautiful display. So you can either pick up 1 or 2 flower heads, or you can get a whole bunch. So as I said, I've got these mop heads, and I've chosen 2 different colours. The reason, because when they dry out, they really, really fade in colour, which is beautiful. But what you want is really vivid colours, and then they will dry with that colour still in it.
So the brighter the colour, the better for later.
Exactly, exactly. And they will go a bit dusky, but yes, the brighter, the better. So I'm cutting them here, always cut them at an angle, and then normally I would cut them vertically as well, just so all that water gets up to the stem, because they're very, very thirsty flowers.
And is it easier also to put into the flower frog?
It's easier to put in the flower frog as well. So I've got 2 different colours, because what I find is having one tonal display is lovely, but it's just lovely to show how beautiful the colour ranges of these flowers are. Depends if you've got acid or alkaline soil.
Look how quickly you do
I
it,
know.
putting it straight in.
This is the thing.
A lot of us grow hydrangeas.
Yeah.
So they'd be perfect from the garden.
Yeah.
Give them a drink first, I'm presuming.
Yes, they're very, very thirsty. So you might have a situation where they're wilting, such as this one you can see.
Yes.
And all you do is submerge the actual head in water.
Really?
And then it will bounce back.
Lukewarm water?
Lukewarm water for a couple of hours, or you can cut it and then put it in boiling water for like 10 seconds, and that will perk it right back up.
Look at that, it's already looking good, and
I
we're nearly
know.
finished.
And so you could leave them in your garden. I've got 3 different types of hydrangeas in my garden. You can leave them in the garden so they look a bit kind of dusky, and then pick them. They're very good for like pollinators. But yeah, just pick them first thing in the morning if you are going to harvest them.
And you put flower food in there as well?
I don't tend to. I just like using lots of water. Change the water daily. You can also mist the head of hydrangeas.
That's a good idea.
They actually soak up a lot of their hydration.
And it keeps it.
Yeah.
Last one?
Last one.
Lovely.
So you can see here, I've done an asymmetrical design, not using a lot of stems, with my flower frog. And that is it.
Look at that!
Yeah.
Literally, in a couple of minutes,
in a couple
transformed.
of minutes. Yeah.
Blooming, beautiful.
Stunning, isn't it? So this will keep in the vase like this for 1 or 2 weeks. Then when it gets to that stage, you just need 1 inch of water, let them dry, and they will completely dry out in situ. Just perfect.
Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Such great work. And Hazel, you're going to be back a little bit later to show us how to make a splash indoors with lemons. Who knew?
I love Hazel's work. She's the best. Now it's time to meet a new member of the Chelsea team. It's garden designer Flo Headland. Welcome.
Thank you. Good to be in the space.
We're loving having you here. Now viewers will know you from Garden Rescue, but tell us a bit more about the gardens you specialise in.
Well, I work in the London and South East area with families, really. Lots of family gardens, big and small, you know, the full range.
Yeah.
And it's about giving every single brief the due care and attention that it needs.
Now, I know you're brilliant with small gardens because sometimes you've got to be extra creative with those, don't you?
Definitely, because actually whether you've got a small garden or a big garden, you still want the same experience.
Yes.
So you need to pack all of those features in that small space and keep it feeling airy.
And you need to be clever with budget as well.
Yes, because budgets are often really tight, so it's about being clever, upcycling, recycling, having items that are multifunctional in that space. That will help with making the budget go further.
And money-saving tips.
Yes, that's what I'm going to be looking at today. Money-saving tips, inspirations, ideas, lots of takeaways for the viewers.
And these are things you'll be focusing on all week, so we're looking forward to seeing that. Well, earlier, Flo headed over to one of the balcony gardens to decode some of the best design ideas that you could use in your green space, no matter how big or small it is. Let's see how you got on, Flo.
Compact spaces can be seen as quite a challenge, but with some clever planning, you could end up with a space like this. A really good approach to your planning is to think of your space in zones, and that will make it easier for you to then get into the detail of how to plan and plot everything. So on this balcony, the right-hand side is about productivity. There's a potting table here for just starting off with your seedlings, and then another table here for potting on, growing, nurturing your plants. And then around on the floor, lots of different modular pots where we're actually growing and maturing the plants. The space is divided by this pot, a really good size and containing this gorgeous pomegranate tree. It gives you height, and that's another thing. When you're in a small space, think bold, think big, and put some height in, because it's great to lift the eye. The left-hand side is about relaxation. There's some gorgeous outdoor furniture, a place to come out and sit and relax, but then you're still surrounded by the garden with all of the pots, with the produce and the flowers, real kind of productivity going on, but you're sitting in the middle of it and enjoying it. Now, at the top of this balcony garden is this pergola. It's great for creating height in a space and gives you the opportunity to grow something like a grapevine, which will scramble over the top and give you a canopy and some shade, which is always really important in a garden. But if you don't want to grow a grapevine, you could grow roses, clematis, ivy, sweet pea, anything that's going to give you some coverage over the top and just beautify the space. Now, pergolas can be quite expensive, but you can get the same effect with garden wires or tension wires. Same effect, but just friendlier on your budget. Now, this corner is all about maximizing your growing space. This curved raised bed is packed with edibles. We've got cabbage, we've got pak choi, we've got fennel, but as well as edibles, there are some perennials as well. And that's the thing, you don't have to do one or the other, bring them both together. Because, for example, by putting in the geums, we're bringing pollinators into the garden. Oh, we've also got nasturtiums, which are great pops of colour. They trail down, or you can trail them up, and they're great in salads. So edible flowers. Be experimental. There are no rules, and actually you learn as you experiment and you try things out. And that's the thing about gardening. Every day is a learning day.
Now, if you've got a gardening question, there's only one place to head for the answer. Of course, it's the Great Pavilion here at Chelsea. It is packed with experts with advice on how to grow your favourite plants. Today, I'm at Peter Beale's roses stand with Head Rosarian, brilliant name, Ian Limmer. Head Rosarian, that is quite a title.
It is, I suppose. Working with roses for 40 to 50 years, you get to know a lot of different varieties and so on, but yeah, it's a lovely title, isn't it?
Well, we know that roses are the most popular flower, aren't they? Most popular plant throughout the whole of the UK. But if someone has never grown a rose before, how easy are they?
Really, really easily. Just put them into the ground. The most important thing to do is, for the first year, is keep them well watered and liquid fed. Something like tomato feed is good enough. Because what we want is the flowers, but the plant wants the roots to get established, then it will give us good flowers. Don't just rely on the rain. Help them through once a week during the summer months to get the roots established.
And what about about size? Because we've got some smaller ones here. What are these ones called along here?
We've got Macmillan Nurse over there.
Are these shrub ferns?
Yes, they're shrub roses. Shrub roses tend to be more lax than modern roses like Hybrides and Floribundas. And they can grow in any aspect, anything from full sunshine to semi-shade, in woodland and so on.
So you've got something for everyone?
We've got something for everyone.
Ian, do you fancy some questions? Are you ready? Any advice for shrub roses in a shady part of the garden?
For a very shady part of the garden, a good variety is a rugosa called Rosary de la Haye. That will stand a lot of shade. But there's also one which we grow, Ivor's Rose, and that's a really good one, really healthy, and that's quite happily grown in the shade.
Excellent. More questions for our viewers. Reese on Instagram says, should I be watering them or should I just let them drink from nature? What a lovely way of putting it. Yeah.
Watering them, as I said, is very important for that first year. But once they're established, we all lead busy lives, you don't have to worry quite so much. But maybe sometimes when people think, I'll water the grass, just give your roses a chance to water as well.
So once they're established, relatively low maintenance?
Very low maintenance. People think it's very complicated. Same with pruning, very straightforward.
Low maintenance but high on impact. Ian, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Of course, it is press day today and we've got some very special visitors from The One Show. It is Alex Jones and Roman Kent.
Hello, Nicki.
Welcome. Well, this is like a second home to you here, isn't it? Because it is Peter Beale's Roses. And there's a little bit of a connection.
Well, there is, because Roman and I have come to see the One Show 20th rose, which has been grown by Peter Beale. It's here. Isn't she a gorgeous creature?
Smell beautiful.
So see, the colours are sort of pink and red for the One Show, and then in the middle.
Yeah, we've got, of course, the proceeds going to children in need, so Pudsey Yellow.
You see?
Clever.
So I mean, come to have a look.
We know that the One Show's a huge team, but are you two like proud parents standing here with your baby?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Alex was nearly welling up seeing
Was she?
it, but no, it is. I think not just for Alan and I, but as you say, the One Show as a team, and I guess the viewers as well. It's so nice for them to have something that feels close to home, I guess.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Well, it's a lovely way to celebrate the 20th year, and the fact that ourselves and our viewers can plant one in the garden is lovely, isn't it?
It is so nice, very personal. I mean, you've recently moved house into the countryside. Will you be planting one of your roses?
Absolutely. I've got a lovely space in the border.
Have you
ready,
already?
Nicki.
And
yes.
Where should we be planting this rose?
Well, apparently
I'm testing you now.
I'm test away. But apparently you can plant in a pot. If you haven't got lots of space, you've got a balcony maybe or a small garden, a pot is fine. Has to be quite a big pot. But you can plant it into a border as well.
Can you? And it needs plenty of water in the first year, because Ian's just told me that.
There you are, very thirsty.
That's it, very good.
Roman, your family loves gardening.
Yeah.
Martin and Shirley Kemp, they're here every single year. You grew up practically in the garden, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, it's always been a thing. I think it's because also for my dad, it was always his dad that was out in the garden when it came. But well, they lived in central London, so any form of small garden space, my granddad was always out there. And taught my dad a lot, and then also for my mum, very hands-on. She's whether or not it's building work, whether or not it's in the garden, it's non-stop. So I can't call home. How a conversation at home will go is I'll call my dad and I'll go, yeah, where's mum? And then I'll just hear, Joe. Oh, hang on, Rose, she's in the garden. That's literally how it goes.
But how lovely, though, to grow up like that. I mean, I know that's important for your children as well, isn't it, Alex?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's the reason we moved out of London, was to have a bit more space. And the children, especially Annie, our little girl who's 4, she just loves planting.
Does she?
So she'll enjoy putting the rose in, I'm sure.
Absolutely, it is gorgeous. A huge congratulations, and you're going to mosey on around and enjoy the rest of the day?
Well, that's it.
Yes.
We've got the One Show tonight, so we need to head off for that one, and we'll be chatting more about our 20th anniversary rose.
Yes.
Lovely. Thank you both so much for joining us. Now, roses are a summer staple that are perfect for making an impact. Plant expert Carol Klein has been in search of even more summer standouts that will keep your garden looking glorious from May right through to the autumn.
Some say that Chelsea is the start of the social calendar, but it's also the debut of the floral season. And this is just the place to look for this season's summer standouts. for big, bold and beautiful. What could match the pure perfection of a peony? Some people would say, but the flowers don't last very long. No, they're true shooting stars. But while they're here, you can't help but gaze into their voluptuous flowers, and absolutely nothing in the garden can beat them for impact. Fascinating feature of these sumptuous blooms is not only do their petals feel as though they're composed of tissue paper, but they change colour too. When they start, the colour is more concentrated, but they fade to these soft and subtle hues. When midsummer arrives, you really want to go up in the world. How about the spikes and spires of verbascums? They're true summer stalwarts with these glorious flowers which go on and on for ages. And one of my favourites is this fairly recent introduction called Clementine. They're such straightforward plants to grow. All they require is decent drainage and a really sunny spot. And that way they'll go on producing these flowers for absolutely months and months, right the way through to late summer. By the time late summer arrives, you may be dreaming of that Mediterranean holiday. But there's no need to head for the airport if you grow these beautiful agapanthus, because they can transport you to all the seas and oceans of the world, from the deepest dark depths of the Pacific to the bright and brilliant blue of the Aegean, and even the white froth of the waves as they splash against the shore. And even if you haven't got a garden, you can grow your agapanthus in a pot. From show-stopping peonies to vibrant verbascums to the moody blues of agapanthus. Look at that one, that's blackjack. You can keep your garden going with big, beautiful blooms all summer long.
Thank you, Carol. Now, this year, we've got some very special visitors to RHS Chelsea who've all been part of a BBC, RHS and TikTok search to find the hottest horticultural talent from the world of social media. We'll be meeting all of them across the week, but today I'm joined by 4 of them: Eli Appleby-Donald, Iswe Nkosi, Jude Lamp and Naomi Saunders. And they are all first-timers here at Chelsea, so this is pretty special, isn't it, Eli?
It is, it's so exciting.
So you're all about growing vegetables on the east coast of Scotland.
Yep.
Have you found any exciting edibles here?
Oh, have I ever. As a single edible, I'll say plant, fungus, mushrooms. I've seen a stall, it's mushrooms, every type you could imagine. Stuff I've never ever seen, but the way it's put there for you to see, just so beautiful, the thought that's gone in and how it was presented, so you could see them in all their finery and glory. But then, as gardens for edibles, some of the container gardens, the knowledge sharing, the tales of the riverbank, how to grow vegetables in small spaces, and I saw some of the most perfect pak choi I've ever seen in my life. Not to nibble on them.
That's amazing. Now, Iswe,
yes,
you're all about encouraging novice gardeners into growing.
Yes,
isn't that right?
That's correct.
What have you seen that you thought, that's something that I need to take away?
Well, there's really 2 things I've seen. I had a very complicated relationship with grasses in my garden, but I have just seen some of the grasses that have been displayed in some of these gardens here, and my perceptions on what you can do with grasses in the space has absolutely changed. That inspiration that I came for, I found it in grasses. So I've come here for inspiration because I'm redoing my garden and I'm taking all of that back to mine. So it's going to be absolutely exciting.
Well, you've got some points there, that's brilliant. But Jude, you're all about finding hacks and tips and tricks for gardeners, aren't you?
Yes,
on your
absolutely. That's
Tell
what
us
I
a bit
cover.
about that. Yeah.
So I'm covering a lot of gardening business related. So I started a gardening business last year, and I've just been recording the whole journey of it and taking people along with me. And I mean, I'm getting a lot of inspiration from this place. One of my favourite things about this place is the Japanese garden. I couldn't believe it, honestly.
It's special.
Ridiculous. Yeah. Attention to detail. Every little thing is in the right place.
stones, the moss, everything's perfect. And I'd love to have a go at creating something like that myself in one of my clients' gardens if I got the opportunity.
Amazing.
I really would.
And Naomi, houseplants is your specialism. What have you seen here at Chelsea?
So I'm a massive lover of weird and wonderful houseplants. Anything variegated, textured, bit of gangly growth. I've even got a tattoo of an Anthurium Warocquianum on my arm. But one thing in particular I'm really excited to get my hands on is a cactus that Conservatory Archives showed, which is a Matillocactus geometrizans stacca, which is a little knobbly-bobbly cactus that grows on top of itself. So, yeah, that's great.
I love that, knobbly-bobbly. Excellent. Guys, have a wonderful time. It's great to have you here.
There's still so much more to come from RHS Chelsea Flower Show 2026, an event supported by Range Rover.
I'll be meeting Dame Elaine Paige to see what she's found at the show for her terrace.
And I'll be catching up with our very own Sophie Rayworth about why Chelsea is so important to His Majesty the King.
First, though, Toby's back and he's showing you how to make an impact in your borders by being brave with statement trees.
This is an oasis of loveliness. I mean, look at it. And it's the perfect place to talk about focal points because designer Christina Cobb has created lots to look at in the garden, beautiful things. There are bird baths, water features, borders brimming with flowers, a greenhouse to die for, and the most beautiful trees. The trees in this garden are really special. This is a hazel, there's a hornbeam, there's a spindle bush behind me. Now, these are hedgerow plants, but what makes them so good is that they've been multi-stemmed. And that's transformed them into living sculptures. I mean, why have one trunk when you can have 5? And actually, this isn't a difficult way to garden and create a tree yourself. You could dig a hole, put 5 hazel trees in it, and with time, they'll come up and look like this. Or you could take an existing shrub in your garden, a gloomy old evergreen, and then turn it into a light-filled living sculpture, simply by chopping away the lower branches all the way up to the canopy. Now, when I used to work on a nursery, we used to call this technique getting the plant to show some knee. It's also known as crown lifting, and you can see just how it transforms the plant. And there's another advantage of having a multi-stem tree. Because the branches are growing cheek per jowl and the plant is kept pruned, it stays below its usual height. But like this, you get the look of a mature tree, but lower down. The other thing it does, it creates layers. You've got the tree canopy above with its catkins in autumn colour, and at ground level, a whole new bit of garden to plant up. Life under a tree isn't for every flower. I mean, avoid sun lovers with silver leaves like lavender and catnip. But there are 3 categories that do really well. There are those with taproots like foxgloves and fennel. I mean, think of a taproot like on a carrot. That's basically a bit of plumbing that goes deep below the tree's roots and prospects for H2O. Then there are plants with wiry roots. Astrantias, cranesbill geraniums. They flop and spread and fill the gaps around the feet of the tree. And don't forget self-sowers. Self-sowing plants, well, they garden themselves. They do the work for you and find their way into little nooks and crannies. Aquiledias, toadflax, both of them are winners. The thing to know is that the plants that you buy from nurseries and garden centres are straight out of compost. And in their first summer, the watering is down to you. Don't spare the hose or the H2O. They'll soon get on their own roots, and they'll become self-sufficient, and they'll form, well, a beautiful frame. And you need a frame for any focal point, but around a multi-stem tree, well, they look fantastic.
You don't immediately think about planting trees in borders, but it works so well. It's so effective. Now, I'm back with floral genius Hazel Gardner, who earlier on showed us how to create a beautiful display with hydrangeas. And you're going to create, aren't you, Hazel, something equally gorgeous for our tables this time?
Something equally as impactful.
Come on, then.
So, trends.
Yes.
The huge trend at the minute is using edibles on tablescapes. It's just really lovely to use an ingredient that you're also going to eat if you're hosting a celebration. So I've chosen lemons today.
So you've been busy because you've got another display in the Great Pavilion.
Yes, I've been surrounded by vegetables, working with She Grows Veg in the Great Pavilion for a feast, a tablescape full of edibles.
And this is something that we can do at home. I would never dream of using lemons. So what are we going to do?
So we've got loads of lemons here. So what we're going to do is, it's Chelsea, so more is more. So we're going to stack our lemons, almost
More
like
is more. Love it.
almost like building blocks. So we've got just a common toothpick here.
Yes.
So we're going to connect our lemons together. So we're just going to pierce one end of the lemon and then literally put on another lemon on the other end. And then we've connected two, and then we're just going to keep on building. So you just pierce and then add them in. So it almost acts like a scaffold. So you can keep on stacking.
Is this going to go next to the display?
Yes, so as you can see here, I've just built them in around my bud vases.
Yeah.
So it's just to really get home that we're using lemons almost like a prop, almost like you would a vase.
I like that. It's like a sculpture already.
It is. It's gorgeous and so super simple. So then to connect it to the flowers on the table, I've got this gorgeous vase here of all seasonal flowers, and I'm going to make a lemon become a flower. So how I do that is I've got a longer cocktail stick that I've actually cut in half. Then all I'm going to do is pierce it again, almost to create like a stem, and that's my flower head.
Right.
And then I'm going to pop it in. So this has again got a flower frog in.
So looking at the floral display, you've sort of left space at the underneath, haven't you, to create?
Exactly. So if you are adding edibles, do leave enough space to keep adding things in. You don't want to get in the way of your flowers, because I've got some gorgeous roses in here. Now I'm going to keep everything quite low to the vase because I want to connect them to the stacks. And also if you put them too high, you're going to have that bit of cocktail stick sticking out, and nobody wants that. So I'm going to stick another one in there. So I've got my flower frog in there, so that's fine.
I mean, these are gorgeous lemons.
So nice. So
is there a particular type you should buy if you're going to create this?
I would say unwaxed and organic where possible. And then the great thing about that is, like, if you are having a party, you can gift them to all your guests afterwards, or use them in cocktails or in water.
What a nice idea. You can get these on the high street.
Perfect on the high street. You can get a whole bag for such an affordable price. So if I connect over here, so I'm going to pop that just near my other stack, and then you can see how it almost looks like it's water falling.
I like that structure.
Yeah.
And you could use other fruit, I'm guessing. What else could you use?
So other things that are great, apples or plums or pomegranates, anything like that. Anything that you can kind of pierce would be fantastic. And obviously anything that you're going to use in your cooking is even better.
And what about maintenance? How often do you have to water them?
So this would be really good. This is all very seasonal, but what I would say, if you're doing this outside, put your flowers in at the last moment. You don't want your flowers outside too much in the heat.
Yeah.
So just do it last minute and then pop all your kind of lemons around it.
So gorgeous, so impactful. And then when all your guests have gone, you can reuse all the lemons.
Exactly.
Really, really clever. Now, Angellica has just bought a whole summer set of crockery with lemons on. She could do something like this,
Exactly.
couldn't she?
A real maximalist moment. That would be beautiful.
I love that. For inside the home, but also if you're dining al fresco.
Exactly.
Thank you so much for joining us. It's fantastic.
Do you know what? That display would look great in my kitchen. Love it. Now, though, it's time to meet a true legend of the West End stage. We know her for wowing audiences through a 60-year career, having starred in musicals such as Evita, Cats and Chess. But you may not know that she's rather green-fingered and uses the terrace of her London flat as the ultimate place to unwind. Please welcome Dame Elaine Paige. It's wonderful to have you here.
Isn't it wonderful to be here amongst all this foliage and plants and flowers, and just wonderful.
Now, not many people will know that it's when you were a little girl that you found a love of nature by potting plants in your maisonette.
I did. We lived in a maisonette in Barnet High Street, and we didn't have a garden, but we had pots. And my mother has always loved flowers and gardening, and so I was first taught about planting and plants there in the maisonette. And then many years later we moved to East Barnet, where for the first time we actually had a proper garden. And my mother made a wonderful rockery, and my father's pride and joy was the lawn. He wanted to make it like Wimbledon, you know, the grass courts, and they would also plant vegetables. We had we had an apple tree and she would make lots of wonderful apple pies. So that's where I learned about gardening. And I think it's the thing as well of always being in the theatre all my life. You're indoors and you're in the dark. And the same in recording studios. You're indoors in the dark. So for me, to be able to be in a garden or to have just even some pots, some pretty flowers to look at, yeah, that just works for me.
Yeah, so those moments when you're outdoors, hearing the birds...
Absolutely.
Must be really special.
Well, I'm lucky enough, I live in a flat, but I've got 4 little terraces, and the sun comes up in the front, and I usually have my morning tea there and listen to the birds, as you say, because I'm near Battersea Park, so I hear them tweeting away. And then as the sun moves around the apartment all day, I sit in a different, or if I'm able to, you know, a different terrace at different times of the day, one for lunch and then right at the back for tea. It's lovely.
So you must have a lovely vista of London.
I do. I look all across Battersea Park. It's the most fantastic view because now it's all in bloom and I see the 4 seasons. You know, it's a wonderful thing to see, but right now I think spring is my favourite because all the buds and the shoots come out and you just suddenly see all those trees bloom. It's fantastic.
Now, you have pots on your terraces,
I
don't
do,
you?
I do.
What sort of things are you growing at the moment?
Well, just before Christmas, I was going away for Christmas time, and I knew that when I came back in the spring, there'd be nothing to look at. So I found out about something called lasagna planting, and I'd never heard of this before. And so I looked it up online and what to do, and I learned how to do it. Basically, it's like lasagna. It's layers of bulbs. And so I bought bulbs, and the lower layer you put the latest blooming flowers.
Yes.
So things like tulips and alliums and the tall ones, and then the middle one is hyacinths and dwarf daffodils, something like that, and the top is the earliest flowers like snowdrops and crocus and things like that. And much to my amazement, I mean, I did it and thought, oh, this is never going to work. And when I came home, and as spring came, and suddenly this whole melange of all these most beautiful flowers appeared all together in my pots, and it was just the prettiest thing. Lots of colours, it was fabulous.
Now, I know that you love bright colours and also roses, but you've been learning about that at Chelsea, deadheading, haven't you?
I have, because I have some lovely roses. A girlfriend of mine, Pauline, gave me one for my birthday, and I had other roses on the terrace as well, surrounding my pots. And I never quite know what to do with them. So I just met this lovely man who's taught me how to deadhead roses and how to prune them and when to do it.
Yeah.
And so I've learned a great deal about the maintenance of roses today. I'm eternally grateful.
Well, we've loved having you here, Elaine. Thank you so much. Now, if, like me, you think of daffodils as a spring flower, you'll be surprised to see them in full bloom here at the show in May. Well, a few years ago, Dame Mary Berry went to discover how growers keep them looking their best for Chelsea. Thank you.
There's nothing more exciting than when the first daffodils come into bloom in spring. But come late May, there is lots of other colour coming to replace them. So why would you bring spring bulbs to Chelsea? Well, for over 30 years, Taylor's Bulbs have. So I've come to Lincolnshire to meet Adam Taylor, the latest in a long line to nurture these spring staples.
Adam, I have never in all my life seen so many daffodils together. It's really spring. Wonderful.
It's a beautiful sight, isn't it?
It goes on forever. So how many have you got here in this enormous field?
In total, we have 4,000 tonnes of bulbs in the ground in this area.
They just look so organised. They're in straight lines all along. In the wind, they look so special. They're trumpet type.
Yes, this is your classic yellow trumpet daffodil, as people would call them. Variety called Carlton. It's what most people would imagine a daffodil is to be.
How many varieties have you actually got over the farm of daffodils?
We've got a lot of different varieties. Let me show you.
Looking around this field, It's just like a patchwork quilt, all different colours.
Yeah, it's a beautiful site, isn't it, Mary? There's 350 varieties here in total.
In this field?
Yes, in this field.
Is it true that you should put daffodils always in one vase together and not add other flowers to it?
Correct, yeah. Daffodils like daffodils. They don't like other flowers in the same vase. They will shorten the shelf life of the other flowers.
I had no idea that there were so many varieties. Well, why bring a spring daffodil to a summer show?
We like to show all the different varieties that we can offer. It just gives people opportunity to be able to see all of the different flowering times on show in one go. If we didn't take them to a show, then it'd be a struggle to convince ourselves to actually keep this collection running. Some of the more discerning gardeners as well will come to the stand and they'll see varieties that they have never seen before, and they'll order them there and then because they'll want to make sure that they get those bulbs so they can have something special for their garden.
All these daffodils flower at different times, from January to May. How do you get them all together for the Chelsea Flower Show?
We have a technique, but let me show you. Well, welcome to our 2,000-ton potato store, Mary. And this is where we keep our Chelsea daffodils.
You brought them into the cold?
Yeah, we have them paused in time at this temperature. They've been on a journey already to get to here, and then they carry on that journey all the way to Chelsea. So these bulbs were harvested last June, and then we've kept them in a shed all the way through until December at a warm temperature. We've tried to make sure that the bulb thinks that it's summer all the way through until that time. And then we plant them, and then they root. And as you can see, they're very vigorous. So as soon as we bring them into the glasshouse, they'll go from this to full flowering.
In how long?
Well, within 2 to 3 weeks.
Really?
Yeah, much quicker than they would do normally.
So here we are, from the cold potato shed to the glamour of Chelsea.
Yes, that's their journey, Mary.
You've had 26 golds so far. What's the chance of a 27th?
There's every possibility, isn't there? We really hope that we can do it. There's so many things that are out of our control, but we'll do everything we can to come home with the gold medal.
Adam, I, for one, am thrilled that you're bringing spring daffodils to Chelsea again, and I wish you every possible success.
Thank you, Mary.
I'm really in daffodil heaven. There are so many to choose from. I might be a while.
Absolutely stunning. And joining me now from Taylor's Bulbs is Adam Taylor.
Hi,
Hello.
Angellica.
Well, that was then. This is now. And I've got to say, this display is absolutely beautiful. And it was interesting to hear how much work goes into making sure all the daffodils bloom at the same time.
Yeah, it's always a risk because you're playing with their natural flowering season. So bringing them here to a show at the end of May is always a little bit odd, considering that they flower in March and April.
Yeah, so is it from January to May that different varieties will bloom?
Yeah, they're the extremes. And so not a lot of people know that you can have daffodils in flower in January or May, but most of them are in that middle peak of March-April season. And they'll always follow a period of time over that as well. So some will be in early March, others in late March, and so you can have daffs in flower for a long period of time.
Now, daffodils, they are fantastic for impact, aren't they?
Yeah, really good in those dark early spring days when you haven't got as much natural light and all of a sudden you've got the bursts of yellow in particular. A lot of my favourites tend to be the whites that come a little bit later. I like them. They complement blossom a lot of the time as well. But we have such an array. It's always daffs, they're yellow. No, there's more.
There's more to it. And there's been 2 new varieties this year. Tell us about them.
Yeah, so Wordsworth Golden, this one here, is a variety that we are using with our celebration of the National Garden Scheme centenary. It's just a classic yellow. It's got a great big corona, which a lot of people find really quite attractive. Yeah. So this is one. And another is Hever Castle. Hever plant a lot of daffodils. They have their own festival. Yeah. And so we named a variety in honour of everything that they do for our daffs.
Amazing. Now, Adam, I've got to say good luck.
Thank you.
Could be your 33rd gold medal.
Yeah, we hope so. I think the team have done a fantastic job, and let's see what we get.
Well, if I was judging.
Thank you.
I'm here on the RHS and the King's Foundation Curious Garden, designed by none other than our very own Frances Tophill. Frances, a huge congratulations. You look fabulous today, and the garden is amazing.
Thank you.
Are you relieved it's all finished? Are you delighted?
Yes, I need a bit of time for it to sink in. I reckon in a month I'll know how it's gone.
Yes.
At the moment, I'm just so in it, you know?
Yeah, amazing. But to design a garden with His Majesty the King, Sir David Beckham and Alan Titchmarsh, CBE, I mean, that is quite a responsibility.
That's the word for it. That's what I felt, a responsibility. Not to let anybody down, and it's the RHS and the King's Foundation as well. But actually, it's been a lovely collaboration. Alan's a great friend, so he's been on the end of the phone whenever I've needed. David's actually been really into the plants. So he asked for things like Nepeta Six Hills Giant and lavender, which we've got a lovely one, which Jekka grew, because you're not meant to bring lavender here because of potential viruses. We've got a lovely UK-grown one. So it's just been really lovely. And obviously the King, with his sustainable ethos and biodiversity and all of those things are what I'm about anyway. So it's been lovely.
Working with such passionate people.
Yes.
And what's so great, I mean, already there's so many people looking at the garden, but they can actually come onto the garden as well. That makes a difference.
That's really important to me. You know, we come every year and we're very lucky that we get to stand on the gardens and you get the whole atmosphere then. And I wanted to make sure that the people visiting the Chelsea Flower Show can get that and also explore it. You know, it's about plants. We've got all the plants growing out here, which people use all the time. I want to celebrate how important plants are. And then in what I'm calling the Museum of Curiosities.
I love that. I love it.
There's so much to look at that you can do with all of the plants that are being grown. And I want people to explore that.
So if there were 3 plants that people perhaps could not literally take away but replicate at home, what would you suggest?
Some of my favourite plants.
Go on.
The pomegranate trees.
Yes.
They are not fully hardy, so I'm not even sure that I could grow them at home, but I might just give it a go.
Yeah, give it a go.
Because I love them. But also we've got lots of really lovely herbs. Now, where I live, it's quite wet, so what I've done here is I've put all of the drought herbs into pots with lots and lots of grit. So I think that's a really nice thing to do.
So easier to grow.
Yeah, so we've got like South African rosemary. This is a manuka right by the beehive, you know, like manuka honey.
Yes.
So this is the plant, but you know, if you put something in a pot and you put some gravel in there, you have the flexibility to move things around, protect them when it's cold, things like that. So I've tried to do that. And obviously, putting veg front and centre and letting some of it bolt.
Close to your heart.
Totally. We've got flowering broccoli and things like that, which are great for pollinators, and they look really beautiful, yellow flowers.
Well, it's not just the 2 of us standing here on this garden, is it? Because I have noticed another little bearded chap behind us. Prominent place. Is he going to be there the whole time? Because we haven't seen gnomes here before. Not for a long time.
The Chelsea Flower Show banned them over 100 years ago. And because the King has a gnome at Highgrove that he hides, so the gardening team find it in different places.
So is he going to be moving? Does he move on his own?
He does move. I've never seen him move, but every day he's somewhere new. So let's
he's
see.
certainly enjoying this garden, that's for sure. And of course, later on this afternoon, we have the royal visit. Sophie's here to tell us more. We're very excited.
I know, the royal family, they come here every year and they love it. The late Queen, Queen Elizabeth, she came, I don't think she missed a year. She hardly missed a year. She came here for the first time in 1952 when she was Queen, and she came almost every year after that. And obviously she brought then Prince Charles with her, now King, who will love what you've created here, Frances.
He will. And am I right in thinking that the King has had a garden here before?
He has. This is a very royal spot, actually, because I think it was 2002, and he designed the healing garden, which he dedicated to his grandmother, and he created it with Ginny Blom, the designer, and it was right here on this spot. And then there was also the Princess of Wales. She was then Duchess of Cambridge, but in 2019, do you remember she had the Back to Nature garden?
Beautiful.
Which was wonderful, and they brought the kids on. Do you remember? They were tiny then, and they had a swing here and everything. So yes, it's a very royal spot, and they do every year. They seem to stop on this corner anyway. So he'll be in here, won't he?
Definitely will. Well, it certainly has a very special place in their heart. We look forward to the coverage later on. And Frances, congratulations. You get a time to breathe a little bit later.
Now, for the first time this week, we're opening the Chelsea Garden Clinic, the place for you at home to ask your burning gardening questions. And in the hot seat to answer them today, it's Toby. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, feeling the pressure?
Yes, but I'm ready.
Yeah, you're always ready.
Shall I go first? OK, Laura's got in touch via Instagram. What British native plant gives the best impact?
Well, it's got to be that Chelsea favourite, the foxglove. So easy to grow, self-sows, comes up in one spot, grows a crown of leaves and then flowers the following year. Dead easy. It's so colourful. Bees love
them.
You love them, don't you?
I do. There's a lot in the grounds here.
Yeah. Well, it's partly because they fill out borders so beautifully. They've got plump flowers, haven't they? That's the way to describe them. There's something really tactile about them.
I love the word plump.
Yeah.
Ample. Great. Angela Rippon was here earlier and she's got a question for you.
I've got a question for the clinic. How can I make my city garden still look like a garden through the winter?
OK. Evergreens are going to be your friend. Now, you don't have to have box balls. There's been trouble with those. But there are other evergreen shrubs like Pittosporum, good balls you can shape them into. There's one called golf ball, for example, that's very good for this. Or heuchera. Now, these are soft-leaved, perennial herbaceous plants. That means they've got the soft foliage flowers as well. But they come in all different colours and they can make a tapestry that will last all winter long and look really beautiful.
So the fact that you live in the city or town, you don't have to compromise, do you, on your plants?
No, these are wonderful in window boxes as well. So when you look out from your kitchen window, you can see the flowers framing the garden beyond on the darkest and grimmest of days. You know, they'll bring the place to life.
Wonderful. OK, Tracy has got in touch via Instagram. My jasmine houseplant keeps throwing off tendrils, growing leaves, and hasn't flowered for 2 years. What do I need to do to get it to flower?
You've got to shock it back into flower. Stick it outside your back door so it gets a cold night or two, and then give it lots of tomato fertiliser. You could prune it as well. That will give it a bit of the boost it needs. It's kind of like drying it off in the pot can help as well, but it's that shock to snap it out of this constant production of foliage. Treat it mean and it'll be a bit keener.
When you say dry it out, though, how long do you dry it out for?
Well, just let it be on the dry side. If you overwater and overfeed all the time, plants just think, well, I'll put on foliage and no flowers.
So it's like holding your nerve to make sure it comes back.
Yeah, that's it. Just be a bit meaner.
Yeah.
Time for one more?
Yeah, should we do this one? This is from Rebecca. I have a trailing rosemary. It was doing so well, so many flowers this year, then all of a sudden it looks sad. How can I revive it? Because it's starting to look sadder.
Ooh, I'm looking at that. I can see the pot there at the bottom. Now, if you let a pot plant dry out completely, particularly one that's been established and its roots have been in that container for a long time, it will become so root-bound that it's hard to get the water in. And then when you do, you've kind of rotted off roots because the plant's dried out, and then it sits soaking wet and dies back. The best thing I'd say, and you're not going to like this, but is take a cut in a bit and start again. Well, do you know, this is the season of hope. You can take a cutting of a rosemary now, drop it on the floor and it'll grow roots, but stick a few of them in a pot and you'll have a new plant, more plants for free than that original, and as long as you keep it well watered in the future and pot it on occasionally, I think it will do really well.
So be brave.
Well, sometimes plants need a reboot, and rosemaries are classic for this, particularly in containers. They're not going to live forever.
Oh, great. We love all this advice, don't we?
So good.
So good. We've got so many more, but we've got a whole week here, so that's good. Toby, as ever, thank you very much indeed. Now, do keep sending in your questions. You can text our WhatsApp number, which is on the screen now, or head to the BBC Gardeners World socials using the hashtag Chelsea Garden Clinic.
Now, we've heard earlier that for the second time ever at the RHS Chelsea Flower Show, the ban on gnomes has been lifted. Now, in celebration, we'd like you to send in your garden gnome pictures using the hashtag Gnome of the Day on our socials, and we'll be sharing some of our favourites across the week.
That's it from us today, but you can join Monty and Rachel on BBC Two at 8 o'clock to see what His Majesty the King makes of Francis's garden as he tours the showground with other members of the royal family.
And we'll be back here on BBC One tomorrow at 2 o'clock to bring you all the excitement of Medals Day. Plus, we'll be showing you how to garden to help nature flourish.
We'll see you tomorrow.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.